What's going on, YouTube? This is Jim Fanis, aka vypermajik, with some Destiny gameplay. Today, I will be playing Iron Banner. I know the event's already over, but I had this file sitting around in the archives, and I thought it was time to show the world some of my patented world-class gameplay. While I play in the background, I thought I'd ramble a little bit about the 1.1.1 Destiny update that dropped today. Specifically, weapon rebalancing. So I'm looking through the actual patch notes on the Bungie.net website, and there's actually a lot of stuff with each gun. So I'll just dive through these and give kind of a quick impression on my thought of them. Auto rifle base damage has been reduced again by another 2.5%, and the reduced effective range values has also been implemented. So in other words, your bullets will do less damage, and they will do less damage the farther away you are. Now, there are certain auto rifles. As you guys know, I'm a pretty big fan of the Suros regime. There is a perk in there that will increase your range. Obviously, it's not as good as, say, a sniper rifle or a scout rifle. But it does help the range a little bit. That's going to be nerfed, obviously, by this. It seems like Bungie's having a hard time calibrating what they want auto rifles to be. When the game launched, if you guys recall, they were OP as hell. Then they've been nerfed, and it looks like they're being nerfed again. An interesting one with pulse rifles is that they've been increased by 9.7%. I believe that's because they know that nobody's playing with pulse rifles because they currently suck. Yeah, you get the 3-round burst and it's kind of cute, but the reality is they don't have the versatility or range of either the auto rifle, the hand cannon, or the scout rifle. In other words, any other gun. So they're going to have to do something to buff that up, and 9.7% is pretty steep. I don't know where they came up with that figure. Why not at even 10? But I have a feeling as a result of this, pulse rifles are going to be a little more sought after. Hand cannons have been reduced in both effective range and initial accuracy. So while their damage isn't reduced in any capacity, their range and accuracy is going down slightly. My thought with this is that they want hand cannons. They want to really start to separate what the sniper rifle can do versus what a hand cannon can do. Now, a lot of people don't really use hand cannons all that too much, so I'm not sure the percentage. I have a hand cannon just as for something to dork around with, but when it gets serious, I pull out my Suros. So I don't know how much this is going to really affect people. Fusion rifles, there's actually now a widened blast pattern, and reduced starting ammunition in player versus player, which is interesting. I felt fusion rifles were pretty consistent with other weapons in terms of blast pattern, so I'm actually surprised to see that it's been widened. The fact that the ammo count is reduced in player versus player, I guess would go on par with my shotgun, where normally I get 6 to 7 shots when it starts. I'm not entirely sure of the amount, but I do go through shotgun ammo pretty quick, and it has to be one of my early stops to start picking up some special rifle ammunition. So in that sense, I think it's on par with what the shotgun is now. No change in damage. Shotguns, however, have got probably the most action out of them, or most activity in this patch. Their increased damage against all non-Guardian combatants has been doubled. So if you thought shotguns ripped through enemy forces before, this is going to double it. Obviously not for player versus player, but I think the advantage to this is the harder difficulty you go into, and the reason they're really doing this, if you think about it, the harder difficulty you go into, the more powerful enemies get, and the faster you die when you get hit. So it makes sense to me that they would increase this, because I'll tell you, my shotgun is like my last resort when I'm playing in a non-Crucible. When I'm playing in like a weekly raid or heroic or something, that's kind of like my last ditch effort. And it's usually 3 or 4 shots, and if I'm not using the 4th horseman, which is the auto shotty, I'm pretty much dead. So I think that's actually a good increase. They've also reduced the high-end range values, have damage fall off sooner, and also reduced ammunition in player versus player. The damage fall off starts sooner. They played with this before. Shotguns used to be extremely ineffective after one of the previous patches. They went back to the original starting shotgun values, and it looks like they're dialing it back. I'm curious to see how this plays out in Crucible specifically. As you can see my play style, I like to one-step or two-step with a shotgun and a melee immediately. With the reduced range, I'm not entirely sure if that's going to work out for my play style. I felt shotguns were in a good place. I didn't feel like they were really OP or anything. I wonder with this change, though, if you're going to see the fusion rifles start to take more precedence in close quarter engagements. We'll have to see how that one plays out. In addition, the strike is now match made. The weekly heroic strike is now match made activity. That's something that is a major change, and I'm happy that they did that. I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. Just because you're placed in a game with random players does not mean they suck, and it does not mean that you're all good individually, and together you will work together and you will be effective. So their mentality of why raids, for example, or why the Nightfall is still non-matchmaking, I really disagree with. But I am glad that they're at least taking strides. And I have a feeling that as they gather metrics, that the weekly heroic strikes are still being executed successfully with randoms. I have a feeling that this may give a player base more ammunition, so to speak, in making sure that Nightfalls and the raids also get matchmaking. Also, strikes will be less likely to repeat in matchmaking when you're on full fire teams. So I can tell you that a lot of times I'll play with my bro Sydney, and we do strikes. Yeah, we get a rando in there, but man, oh man, it is the same crap over and over. So I don't know what it is with the random logic in Destiny, why they're doing this, but I'm glad it's a major fix. Player versus player. Players will now unlock all playlists simultaneously when unlocking the Crucible. I've been level 20 for so long, I don't even remember that. I guess they piecemealed it before, which makes sense. I mean, why would they limit what you want to do? That's a good change. I'm surprised that design decision even was considered at one point where they were going to ease you in, because the truth is multiplayer and combative multiplayer is combative multiplayer. So good change there for the newbies coming on. Add a new notification when Crucible modes unlock. Crucible maps will be less likely to repeat with full fire teams. Again, a major thing. I cannot tell you this weekend in Iron Banner how many times I played the same damn map in a row. So thank you. Let's have some more random elements in here. And hey, let's get some more maps while we're at it, okay? Guardians no longer drop heavy ammunition when killed in player versus player. I think this sucks. And what you're gonna see now is players are gonna rush heavy ammo, like you read about, and you're gonna see a lot of more sacrificial lambs. I can't tell you the number of times that I've run to a heavy ammo box along with another player, and they'll get it, and as a novice, because they're not actually clearing the room, I'll kill them and pick it up off their corpse. Now basically you're going to have people run over and just grab it just for the sake of grabbing it, knowing that there's no impact to the other team for them dying with it. I think that's a really stupid idea, and I hope that Bungie changes that immediately, because it's going to make some stupid gameplay happen. I just know it is. Completing matches will now award gear appropriate with power level. You mean I'm not going to get level 4 blue bracers anymore? Or gloves? I'll believe that when I see it. But you know what? It all is disenchanted anyway. As a Titan, I have so many freaking playsteel plating. I have like 999 of these suckers. So it's just going to get disenchanted anyway. I would much rather the, if anything, I wouldn't say even Glimmer, because Glimmer isn't even that important. But the whole gear associated with matchmaking, if you follow me on Twitter, you see the amount of times that the guy who comes in and has a shit score gets the best stuff. It blows my mind. That needs to be fixed. This isn't going to fix it. So I think they're still off base here. Fix the bug where there was no audio playing for a bullet that kills them. Okay, whatever. Don't die. Iron Banner. Finally, playlist now contains some other maps, and the forced aggression bounty can be completed with other guns. But you know, this still doesn't fix the true problem with Iron Banner bounties, that they're kind of dopey. Why can't we just use the existing Crucible bounties? I mean, isn't Iron Banner supposed to be the best of Crucible? So why can't I have kill 50 Titans? It's just, it should be harder to do in Iron Banner than it is in Crucible. But why you have a whole subset of bounties that need to be completed in Iron Banner is dumb. The 10 kills in a row, I mean, yeah, it happens. I've done it a few times, but it's very difficult to do. So you say, oh, well, that just makes sense, Jim, because, you know, we want the best of the best to only get the best gear in Iron Banner. Well, then you turn around and give everybody Iron Medallions, and then you give people the ability to go out and buy tokens to boost their experience. So are you really limiting it to player skill? And the answer is no. So why are you punishing players with shit bounties? Open up the bounty system. There's some other little things. Xur now has exotic engrams. User interface now displays faction reputation. This is a big deal. I'm glad they made this change. Players will now see improved notifications when teams join their channels. Some Grimoire crap no one cares about. And a bug that they fixed. All in all, I think it's a pretty good patch. I think they've addressed a lot of content. I'm very curious to see how some of the weapon changes actually play out in Crucible, because that's where I spend most of my time. I think the shotgun's probably going to be less effective as it used to be. I think you're going to see a lot more people switching from the auto rifle and the scout rifle back to the pulse. I think they did this solely, again, for just percentages of weapons and how many people are using those weapons. I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think these changes were yay or nay? Comment, rate, subscribe, or do none of the above. That's okay too. As always, thanks for watching, and until then, I will see you guys on the other side.